So I was just eating my jelly and celery snack when my friend asked me how to become a good YouTuber. Since I have 11 million subscribers, I decided to teach him everything I know. First, I showed him all of the cameras I have, and he ordered the same ones. Then I showed him all of the different lights I have, and he ordered those too. Next, I showed him how I come up with my video ideas and how I film them. Lastly, I taught him how I edit my videos. He asked lots of questions and picked up on everything really fast. But then I checked out his first YouTube video, and it was just like my videos. Turns out he was a YouTube subscriber stealer and was trying to steal all of my subscribers. Subscribe to help me get to 12 million subscribers so he doesn't steal them all. So Destiny and I went to the beach when all of a sudden I had to go to the bathroom. I ran and got my shirt and started searching everywhere for the restroom. I stopped and asked an employee and he told me where to go, but his directions led me back to the beach. So I had no choice but to take a nap. But then I realized I still had to go. Then I found the trailer and knew it had a bathroom, but no one answered. So I hopped on a tram car to take me back to the hotel. And at this point, I was really about to pee on myself. When we got there, I hopped off and started running, but it was too late. As I was running, I had an accident on myself. Let me know in the comments the last time you had an accident. So I was just finishing my lunch when I realized I was about to be late for Mr. Gaines' class. Mr. Gaines didn't play no games. He was definitely the meanest teacher in the whole entire school.
Y'all better stop talking, God!
I didn't want to be late to his class, so I rushed out the cafeteria, but then I realized I had left my textbook in my locker. So I sprinted down the hall to my locker, but then I saw Mr. Gaines standing outside his classroom waiting for me.
Why are you late, God?
Although the late bell just rung, he gave me detention for being tardy. So instead of going in his class, I went to the principal's office so I could plead my case. But since I didn't have a hall pass, my principal gave me double detention. Subscribe if you ever had a mean teacher. When I was a kid, my dad always seemed to pick the worst times to ask me to do things. He'd want me to wash the dishes while I was in the middle of a game, or tell me to brush my teeth right before dinner. Sometimes, he even asked me to clean the bathroom when I was already in bed. One day, I decided I'd had enough and wanted to get back at him. My dad loved watching football on Sunday afternoons, so I waited for the game to start and asked him to put air in my bike tire. He looked really annoyed, but did it anyway. As soon as he sat back down, I popped my tire and told him I needed a new one. He got up, clearly frustrated, and replaced it. When the game was almost over, I pretended I fell off my bike and scratched my arm. When he saw me, he just wanted me out of the way, but I told him I thought my arm was broken and needed to go to the hospital. He yelled and ran upstairs to change. When he came back down, I told him he missed his team winning and that my arm felt better. Even though he grounded me for making him miss the game, it was totally worth it. So Destiny and I decided to go jet skiing. We were having a blast. The waves were amazing. The breeze felt so good. And I found out how to unlock the fastest speed. Then we seen some of our friends and we waved to them, but that caused our jet ski to slowly flip over. I was so scared because I thought a shark was going to come and eat us. So I quickly climbed back on top, but Destiny was nowhere to be found. So I rode back to shore and told all of our friends. Everyone went into the ocean and started looking for her. I didn't want to just stand around, so I started my own search. Then I ran into this guy, and he said she might be on the other side of the beach. So I ran as fast as I could because I wanted to find my little chicken nugget. But when I got there, I couldn't believe it. She was riding a horse in the ocean. Like this video if you ever been lost. Jeff Bezos sent me a message. So I was on the couch watching Young Sheldon when I received a phone call. And it was Amazon telling me that I only had a few hours left to return all the things I didn't want, or I wasn't going to get my money back. I panicked. I had about $1,000 worth of stuff to return and I wanted all my money back. But things got worse when I realized UPS was closing in 5 minutes. I grabbed all of my returns, threw them in the trunk, and sped all the way there. And guess what? I was too late. I was so hurt because I wasn't going to get my $1,000 back. But then I had an idea. I sent Jeff Bezos a message letting him know what was happening. I didn't think he was going to respond, but he did. He said he'll tell Amazon to refund me all my money and I could keep everything I bought. Although I no longer need these things. I just want to say thank you, Jeff Bezos. Subscribe if you think Amazon is taking over the world. So my son Kaden usually wins every game he plays, but today I could tell he wasn't having that much luck. So I bet him ice cream if he won the game. He tried his best, but he lost, and I found it so funny. A few minutes later, I saw him playing another game, and this time I bet him $10 if he won the game. He lost, and I was 2 for 2. For the rest of the day, I kept on making bets with him, and he lost every time. Watching him finally lose was so funny because he never loses game. Since his luck was clearly gone, I bet him anything from the gift shop if he won the game. And out of nowhere, he got his luck back. Turns out he was just faking the whole time, waiting for me to bet him something that he really wanted. Like this video if you ever scammed your parents. Today's the first day of spring break, and my son Kaden's already driving me crazy. He left our back door open again, which means our dog Snoop most likely ran out the house. So we searched our whole backyard for him, and we couldn't find him anywhere. Then I realized he must have escaped under the fence again. So we ran to the garage and hopped on our electric scooters to search for him. As we were riding and yelling out his name, both of our electric scooters died. So I had no choice but to put Kaden on my back and keep searching. But he started getting heavy, so I put him down and we both started running. We still couldn't find him, so So we hopped in the car and drove around searching for him. We still had no luck, so Kaden climbed the biggest tree in town to search for him up high. Although he didn't find Snoop, he found the dog park. So we ran to the dog park to see if Snoop was hanging out there. But he wasn't, and we had no choice but to go back home. Then suddenly, Kaden said he might know where Snoop is. He opened up the door to the laundry room, and Snoop was chilling on his bed. Kaden forgot that he put him in there this morning, which means we did all of that running around for nothing. Subscribe if you think Kaden knew Snoop was in the house the whole time. I was riding my Segway in the house when all of a sudden I heard something inside my wall. I was about to run away, but then I remembered I was the man of the house and it was my job to take action. So I had no choice but to find out what was in my wall. At first I tried to drum on the wall, hoping that whatever it was would run out where it came from. But then I heard scratching noises, so I figured it might be a cat, and I raced to the store and bought some catnip to lure it out. But nothing happened. Then I realized it might just be too scared to come out. So I made a puppet and sang a friendly song telling it that it was okay to come out. But still nothing happened. Suddenly, I remembered that I had just bought a long, skinny camera that can fit in the walls. I put it in the air vent and I couldn't believe it. It was my dog, Snoop. Comment below if you have ever heard something creepy in your home. So I play my drums every single day, and one thing that I love more than my drums are my special drumsticks. One day I took a break to eat my mustard and apple snack, and when I came back to my drums, my special drumsticks were missing. So I ran to Destiny and asked her if she touched my drumsticks, and she said no, so I asked if the baby touched them. And then I remembered she can't even walk, so that left only one person, Kaden. I asked him if he see my drumsticks, and he started laughing. That's when I knew he did it. He said he really didn't, and he just laughs when he's nervous. So I had no choice but to use another pair of drumsticks, but they just weren't the same. So I realized I couldn't give up on finding my special drumsticks, so I searched the whole house for them, and I still couldn't find them. But then I heard a drum beat coming from my garage, and when I opened up the door, it was my dog Snoop. He was the one who stole my drumsticks, but I was more shocked about the fact that he could play the drums. Subscribe if your pet can do something cool. Takis are my son Kaden's favorite snacks. He's been eating them since he was a baby, but one day I got a call from his doctor saying that Takis are burning holes in kids' stomachs, so I had no choice but to ban Kaden from eating Takis. After throwing out every bag we had in the house, I caught him eating a bag in the tree. He must have bought them from the grocery store, so I decided to go there and buy all of them so he couldn't buy them anymore. But then I realized I couldn't go home with all of those Takis, so I placed all the Takis behind my tire and ran over them. My tire had Takis crumbs all over them and I brushed them off, but then my fingers had Takis flavoring on them. Out of curiosity, I took a lick and my eyes lit up. It was the best thing I ever tasted. So I went back in the store and bought me a new bag and ate it in seconds. When I got home, Kaden could smell my breath from across the room. He laughed and pulled out a bag for us to share. Comment below which Takis flavor you like best. So I was vacuuming my floor when I realized my vacuum sucks. It doesn't pick up anything I try to vacuum up. So I had the idea to build my own vacuum. I got a paper towel roll, some tape, and a trash bag, and my vacuum was complete. But after trying it out, it really didn't work. I wasn't gonna let that stop me, so I got my dog Snoop and trained him to be my new vacuum. But the only thing he picked up was food. I was about to give up, but then I saw videos of people talking about a new vacuum. So I ordered the vacuum, and a few seconds later, there was a knock on my door. I answered the door, and it was my new vacuum. Talk about one-day shipping. So I tried my new Wise vacuum, and it was the best vacuum I ever used. It has so much power. But then I accidentally vacuumed my son's homework. Subscribe if you think I should explain that to his teacher. I was about to deliver some Prime to my friend when I realized my bike had a flat. So I called an Uber, and when I got in the truck, the driver seemed really nice. He offered me snacks, let me charge my phone, and told jokes. He was so great that I gave him 5 stars before the ride was even over. His attitude immediately changed. He started blasting music, speeding, cursing out the window, driving with no hands, and even with his eyes closed. Then to make things worse, he stopped at a drive-thru for food and didn't even get me anything. When I thought it couldn't get any worse, he pulled over, jumped out his truck, and started skating away. So I got out and seen that his truck didn't have an Uber sign in the window. Instead, there was a piece of cardboard with Fuba written on it. So I went back into the truck to grab my Prime, but it wasn't anywhere to be found. That's when I realized the guy must have skated away with my Prime. Since Halloween's almost here, I've been eating all my favorite snacks like cheese puffs and cookies. I've been gaining so much weight that my wife said I need to go on a diet. She said that I'm starting to look like a fat Michael Jackson. She wanted me to work out with her, but I kept thinking about food. I was eating everywhere, cake while lifting weights, donuts in the shower, even sneaking chicken while Destiny was cooking. I was munching while doing laundry too. One day, I realized none of my clothes fit, and when I looked in the mirror, I saw I'd really turned into a Mac fatty. So I had no choice but to rush to the grocery store to buy healthy snacks. But when I saw some tasty cakes, I couldn't help myself. I started filling the cart with every snack I saw. Do you think my wife will find out? So I was fixing my son's swing when he asked if he could have some Takis. I told him no and walked under my ladder. Kaden said that walking under a ladder is bad luck, but I told him that wasn't true. After I finished fixing the swing, I stepped on a crack, and Kaden said, "Step on a crack, break your mother's back." Then I got a call from my mom saying she had just hurt her back, so I had to go to the hospital. I grabbed my shirt from the dryer, but it had turned pink. Then I made myself a bottle of water, but when I tasted it, it was vinegar. I went to get my car keys from their usual spot, but they were gone. At that point, I started believing in bad luck and prayed for it to go away. Then Kaden started laughing. I asked him what was so funny, and he said he had been pranking me the whole time because I wouldn't let him eat Takis. Comment below if you've ever had bad luck. So one day, my Tesla told me to pull over. I got out the car and checked my tire, and it was flat. This was my third flat tire this month, and I was angry. Kaden came out to see what was going on. Him being the helpful son he is, he tried to use his superpowers to fix it. When that didn't work, he tried to use his super strength to pull the car to the shop, but it was too heavy. The only place around us was the deserted school. So I yelled, and I stomped to calm myself down. Once I was cool, I used my phone to call us an Uber, but the closest Uber was an hour away.
Oh, this day just keeps on getting worse.
So to pass time, Kaden and I started playing tag. I thought I was faster than him until he tagged me and ran away. For the life of me, I couldn't catch him and needed a little break. When did he get so fast? I tried to get Destiny to take my spot for a little while, but she didn't want to be out in the cold. Next, I dared Kaden to chase after a field of birds, which was funnier than I thought, and we followed a dotted trail on the sidewalk, which was fun, although something around the corner sent Kaden running back. Before we knew it, our Uber was there to pick us up, and we had so much fun that I was no longer upset about my tire.